Welcome to Breaking the Chains. This is Bakita, and today we're going to do an update on a video that I did back in August. I believe it was August, with the young lady, young Ghanaian lady who is working to get justice in her case with childhood abuse. We started a GoFundMe. We have been doing a few things. She's been working on her things behind the scenes. And now we want to do an update and bring things up to speed. If you haven't already, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. The more subscribers and likes we get, the better the algorithm will help to show you different videos from people who do videos like mine about repatriation, about living in Africa, and things of that nature. And it also helps me. That's your way to support me free of charge. Now, if you want to support my channel and support the work that I'm doing, you can always give a donation at my Cash App, $Bakita Mahama, or you can reach out to me and we can figure something out. No big deal. But a free way for you to be supportive of this channel is to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you. So without further ado, I am going to bring in Dolores. And Dolores is going to share her story with us and let us know exactly what's been going on since the last video. Hey, Dolores.
Hi.
Welcome back. Welcome back. So if you would, please reintroduce yourself to my audience and let's jump right into the update of your story.
Okay. My name is Dolores Prentice, and I'm a Ghanaian, and I am seeking justice for childhood sexual abuse.
Yes. Thank you so much. One of the things that really stuck out with me with your story was how similar your own personal story is to so many women that I know of personally here in the US. I think oftentimes people don't realize how childhood sexual abuse is such a worldwide problem. And many times they don't, especially people from my community here in America, we just, for some reason, we don't seem to realize that this is a problem in Africa, specifically Ghana also. So if you would take us back where do you want to start? I'll say that. Where do you want to start with your update?
Yeah, I felt the first video, I didn't cover much into the case. So I want to start from the beginning when I started to take them through my journey. And it's been almost a year now since I started this journey to seek justice. So I wanted to take the viewers through and all those who have supported me on this journey to know where we've gotten to with the case. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So where are you now?
Now I'm at a roadblock. Mm-hmm. Yeah. To reach my roadblock, I'll say a year ago, I started looking out for a lawyer to go into, get into the case. And then by April, May, I got a lawyer who decided,
Uh-huh.
okay, this is your case. And when I met with her, I was like, oh, let's go to the human rights courts. That's what I want. I'm looking for justice. So she sat me down and told me that, okay, I have viewed your case and I feel like if we don't go there, would you be happy? And I told her, no, I won't be happy because that's what I wanted. And that's the
Right.
only way I could get justice. So she told me that she believes in the family unit. And if we should go through that process, whatever settlement I'm supposed to get, the government is going to take it and I'm not going to get anything. And looking at what I'm going through, I need a lot of support with mental health and everything. I need a lot of support. So even if I should go through it, and there are 4 family members, there are 4 relatives, and if I should go through it, and I might find myself wanting, no family member would want to help me because of the path I have taken. So
Right.
she would advise that I look at other alternatives to getting justice. And there are so many ways one can get justice. So let's go talk with them. And if they don't like being soft, then we can go straight ahead to the human rights court. Then we know that, okay, we tried our best and we didn't get it. Then we go straight. So we started the case, and then even the first day I went to meet her, I was supposed to pay for my consultation. I didn't have all the money, but I was like, okay, how am I going to pay? She said, don't worry, you have the money to pay. And I was like, okay. So we went on with the case, and we tried to invite one of my abusers, that was my brother. We tried to invite him to see the lawyer. The lawyer wanted to speak with him, but he didn't come. The lawyer reached out to him on a Tuesday, and he said he will confirm on Thursday so that he meets with her on Friday.
Yeah.
Thursday, she reached him by text, by call. He didn't respond. So she reached out to me and told me that, okay, your brother didn't get back to me if he's going to come on Friday. And I was like, okay. So we waited the following week. He didn't reach out to her. So we waited for another 3 weeks because I told the lawyer that maybe he's trying to consult with his lawyer or something. That's why there's a delay. So just give him some time. So 3 weeks, and he still didn't get back to her. So she told me that, okay, I don't want anybody to take the case for granted. So go to the police station and then make a complaint there. I went to the police station and I made a complaint there, and they took the case. Initially, they were like, oh, it happened a long time ago in the 90s. Why are you bringing it up now? So I told them that my statute of limitation has not expired. So I can take it up anytime. And I feel this is the right time. I want to do it now. And it was like, okay, you're right. So they took the case. I gave my statements and everything. And they were given a date to come in.
So quickly,
They are invited.
what is the statute of limitations so that others may know how much time they actually have to make a complaint?
Okay, so if it happened when you're minor, your statute of limitation doesn't expire. So you decide to take it up. So you could be 50 years old and decide to take it up. But if it's a sexual assault as an adult, you have about 2 years to take it up. If you don't, then your statute of limitation expires. But for child sexual abuse, they give the victim, knowing that the person was a minor, they give them that much time to be able to bring it up.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. And in my case, my parents did nothing. So now I'm an adult. I decided that, okay, I want to take it on. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So go ahead.
Okay. So they were invited back to the police station. They were invited to the police station And when they were invited, they wrote their statements. So afterwards, the district police officer viewed the case, and he said, okay, the case is going to move from their end to the Attorney General's office. And by then I was like, okay, I think that was sometime in July. But in June, I reached out for a GoFundMe account because I realized that no, this thing is gonna need some funds. So we created a GoFundMe and everything. And then July, I was expecting that, okay, July, the case is going to the Attorney General's office. So I waited for a while and everything. I think sometime in August or so, then they called me back. When they called me back, I was like, okay, I was expecting the call from the Attorney General's office on when we'll be starting court proceedings. So I wasn't expecting a call at the police station. So when I went there, then they told me that, oh, this why. It was like, oh, we don't have any witnesses. I was like, you invited me over. I gave you a list of family members. I gave you my entire family members' names, numbers, and even friends who knew about it. So did you call any of them? And it was like, oh, we only called your twin sister. And it was like, my twin sister said she would get back to them, and she didn't. Mm-hmm. And I was like, why? You didn't call this person, you didn't call that person. And I was like, then the investigator told me that even if I call them, what am I going to say? And I was like, I gave you my statements. My abusers gave you their statements. So at least verify from them the truth. Okay. I said, what do you need? She was like, oh, okay, they'll make the call. But since then, it's like, oh, I'm not in the office. I have another case in court. So I was like, okay, yes, I'm not the only person that has brought a problem to the police station. So you have another that is in court. So fine. So I called at that time, oh, I'm still in court, and one excuse after the other. And sometimes I get there and find out what is going on, and I have to sit there for hours, and I don't get any good feedback from them. And then another time, she told me that she was traveling. She's on trek and she has an assignment, so she'll be away for a couple of months, and she'll be back in November. And while all of this was going on at the police station, I had family calling me. I had my sister call me, and she was like, "Oh, I heard what happened. That you took your brother to the police station and other cousins. What did they do?" So I told my sister that this is what they did. It was like, what did your brother do? I was like, he did this. He was like, I believe you. And I was so happy. I was relieved that somebody in the family believes that something did happen to me. And so when she asked me, I told her that, oh, my twin sister was there. So either he did it to my twin sister before me or me before her, but it will be one of those. Who was like, okay, so can I ask her? And I was like, yeah, you can ask her. So if I was lying, I was like, oh, this is a sensitive topic, don't ask her and stuff like that. But I gave her the go ahead. I was like, ask her. So she got back to me 2 days later, and she was like, oh, she did ask my twin sister, and she said she doesn't remember that, but she remembers one that happened a year ago. And I was like, she was like, it happened in Kanda. Then that means I was 7 years old. And I was like, I'm around telling people the things started when I was 8 years old. So it started like before then. She was like, yeah. She said this, and then she told me that my twin sister said he did it in the girls' room, but even our older sister came to meet it, and then she was mad at him, angry at him, shouting at him. So my twin sister said that was when she realized that what my brother was doing was bad. So she sacked my brother out of the room, and then told us that we shouldn't go near him. If he called us, we shouldn't go to him, but if we ever go around him, she's going to beat us and all of that. So when my older sister told me this, I was like, wow, I don't remember. I don't remembers that, but didn't remember what I said. She didn't remember what I remembered. So after a couple of days, I reached out to my twin sister and I told her, oh, our sister said this and this. I was like, yes. But I wanted her to, I was like, this person said this and that person said that. I told her that this person said this. Is it true? I want you to tell me what you remember. And she said exactly so.
Right.
She said exactly what my told her. So she told me on a Thursday. And then on Sunday, my twin sister calls me back and tells me that, oh, you know, I didn't know that you had reported our brother at the police station, but somebody who has helped you. And I say, yes, that one, I'll say it wherever I go. He has helped me. But something happened to me and has affected me all these years. And I just need closure. I need justice for it. She was like, no, you're not supposed to do that. But if they call her from the police station, she will not answer their call, or she would not go, and she would say she doesn't remember.
Wow.
That's what she told me. So I asked her, so if it was it was coming from the elders in the organization, would you say you don't remember? Oh, that's a different thing. So I was like, if it's them.
And you mean in the church, right?
In the church. Mm-hmm. So would you tell them? She was like, that's a different thing. Then I got it that, yeah, she would confess to the elders, but not to the police. About this crime. So the conversation was back and forth, and then we ended. And I've not spoken to her ever since. I've not spoken to her about anything about it. But as everything was going on, my mom kept calling me. Then my mom had traveled to the States, so she wasn't around. So she was just calling me. But she did on one occasion speak to the investigator and was putting everything on me that it was my fault, that all of this is happening. She told the investigator that it was my fault, that it was the whole thing was happening. And then she told the investigator that she wanted me to withdraw the case at the police station. So the investigator told her that right now she is an adult. So if you want her to withdraw the case, I want you to come here and come and put your statement down so that we know to handle this at home. So they said before they even withdraw the case with my consent, my mom should be present and tell them what their strategy is, how they intend saving the situation. And my mom said she's not in the country, but she will have her older sister handle it. And the investigator said, okay, she has heard it. But afterwards told me that, okay, it's all in my hands, because I was the one who brought the case. And I told her, no, I'm not taking it out of the police station, because when I was out, they didn't do anything right. In 2003 or 2004, when I had my crisis, and I went to my mom, that called me meeting. Let's sit down with their sons who did this to me and sit down, and I want them to apologize in front of everybody. My mom said, no. They paid for my therapy for only 2 years. So since then, I've been the one doing everything all on my own. So what good is going to come from they taking the case out of the police station now? I've not seen anything. I've not seen them do any good work for me. So I can't take the case out of the police station. So when my whole twin sister issue happened and everything, my mom will call me. She was like, yeah, I regret having kids in my life. I regret having you as a child. I wish I had done an abortion. I wish I had worn a condom, because look at what the problem you're bringing into the family. And she says, like, kind of like nasty things to me, like, after all, you're grown, you've had sex, what's the big deal? It doesn't make any difference. It happened to you as a child, and now you're an adult, you're doing it. It doesn't make any difference. And it did hurt me so much. This
I
is not
know.
the first time I heard her say it, but it's like, I know she could go that far with her words, how it could hurt me, but it's something that I've been through over the years. But each time she does it, it hurts me all over again. It feels
Yeah,
like it's a new wound being opened. It's like it's a new trauma I'm going to go through with her. It's like
yeah,
I can never say that, this has happened already. It doesn't matter. Even when I hang up the call, I feel so depressed. I feel so hurt. And it's like I'm reliving everything because I expect my mom to be there. So I asked her over the phone, like, the way you talk to me, the way you hate me, the way you blame me for everything, have you once in your life this whole time called any of my abusers to tell them that, oh, I hate what you did to my daughter, so you pay for it. Can you go and apologize to her? Can you do this for her? I was like, once, have you done that for me? Have you ever done that for me? And she goes silent. She won't talk. And I would never, ever, right now I'm a mother, I would never, ever stand there and somebody do this to my daughter and I wouldn't defend. I'll go crazy on that person. But I
absolutely.
have a mother who would rather send all of the thinking that this will be something like an eye opener for her to see it from a different angle. No. The same way she has seen me ever, like the whole time. And
It's okay.
if I had my mother standing by me through this, I think
Mhm.
I'll have a bit of comfort. I'll have someone like, hey, that's my hero. That's somebody who is fighting for me. But since she heard that I took the thing to the police station, it has been from one verbal abuse to another. And since she came in November, she has not ever come to see me at home saying, Dolores, let's address this issue as a mother. It's like, let's talk about it. No,
Wow.
she doesn't care. She
I'm so
doesn't
sorry.
care.
I'm sorry to
And
hear that. Um, you
knowing
know,
that you came to this world with a twin sister and you're expecting her to at least like be there as well. It's like, oh, Dolores, I know what you went through, but you went too far. Let me stand in for you. Let me talk to them. Let's have a family meeting or something. She won't get involved. She doesn't want to get involved. And even you were the person who was there. If nobody in the world ever saw it, if nobody in the world ever witnessed it, you and my twin sister, we were together. We came together. You should have said something. You should have like, oh yeah, you didn't do right. Let me once in my life defend my twin sister on this because I witnessed it. I was there. But
yeah,
she just want to cut herself out.
it's unfortunate that when it comes to abuse of any kind, but especially childhood sexual abuse, people just seem to want to crawl up under a rock and act like it never happened. Not only the people who are abused, but abusers and the people who know about it. Like, it's such a difficult thing to even consider. But for the life of me, I just can't understand how, and what you're saying, believe me, you are not alone. There are so many people, boys and girls, men and women, who are struggling and suffering and or feeling as if they're going through it alone. And family members don't want to have anything to do with such a situation. It's always the closest people to us who don't want to have anything to do with it. They want to just sweep it under the rug and let's just pretend it never happened, while you are literally suffering. And I don't think people even understand the extent to which people suffer when they're going through this. A lot of people turn to drugs, people turn to abusing sex, and being promiscuous, or they completely they completely abstain and don't want to have anything to do with men or women or whatever the case may be. Like, it's so much trauma, and for whatever reason, people continue. I don't think they really understand how they further traumatize the victim when they won't support them. And I know it's not a lot, but that's one of the reasons why I am so intent on being supportive in any way that I possibly can, because I know that this is not easy. I know, like, I really look up to you for standing up for yourself and standing up for other people, because as you can see, it's hard to get the the support that you need. And even with your case, I remember you telling me that when we started the GoFundMe, the lawyer told you didn't need it. So
yeah,
you were, you're saying, okay, I need to get this support because I got to do this. But when the lawyer is telling you, oh, you don't need it, making it seem as if, don't worry about it, I got it, and I'll just take whatever you can give me. And then for it to turn around and it really seems like that was another way of keeping you from not pushing the case. So you're having a hard time with the support of your family. I know at one point the lawyer was able to get some of your family members to come to the table, and your mother didn't come, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was that, sitting with all of the people in one room, and like, tell us what happened.
Okay, so when we met, they acted like they've been sent, and the lawyer kind of like gave her intro speech on why we were present there and everything. And what they said, oh, her mom sent us. I was like, what? It was like, oh, they came because my mom sent them that. I was like, they wanted like to take the case out of the police station and handle it at home. But they didn't say that their kids were also involved. So with my lawyer, she was like, okay, if these people are not coming to kind of like see how we can move forward the case, then, and they came on behalf of your mom, and they asked when my mom was going to come. It was like in a month's time. So my lawyer was like, Dolores, please, I beg you, let's wait for your mom to come in a month's time. So it was an unproductive meeting. Nothing really did happen. It was just they coming to say they were sent, and that was it. But to ask the lawyer, it's like, so our kids are involved. How can we like kind of like save the situation? Nothing of that sort. They just came to sit down, and the meeting lasted for like 15 minutes, and that was it.
So, and the lawyer let's give us a layout. Who was at the meeting?
So my cousin in the States who abused me, dad was there, and then my cousin in Britain who also abused me, mom was there. And then my kid brother was also present because my mom said he should come for the family. So he was also present. and then myself and my lawyer. So just the 5 of us were present.
So the lawyer didn't even ask anybody any questions, or she didn't go into anything?
She didn't go into anything because they said they were sent to do this and that by my mom. But prior to that, I had sent a message telling her who will be coming and the names and everything and who they are related to and how it affects my case and everything. But I think she didn't really read through everything, or it escaped her. I would say I'll make that excuse that it escaped her. So after they had left and I told her that these are the parents of this person and that person, she said I should have mentioned it there. And I was like, I didn't see anything that will make me even mention it. That is why I sent you the message prior to that.
Right. And she's the lawyer. She should have been
But they were already
trying
gone.
to
The
figure
meeting had
out
ended.
with her due diligence. She should have been saying, okay, how are you related to this case? How are you related to this case? The line is breaking. If you can hear me, the line is breaking up, so I didn't get anything that you said. There, just. We got cut off.
Yes,
So where we were at the place where I was, it started breaking up when I was asking you about the lawyer not doing her due diligence when she had the people in front of her.
Yeah.
So, like, I just don't understand, like, why she would not take the opportunity in saying, okay, while she have these people here, who are you and how are you related to this case? Who are you? And that would have given you the opportunity also for you to say, well, this is the mother of my cousin. This is the father of my cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like, but clearly she didn't read your message, like you said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I
So,
got some point like send a message. It could take 3 weeks before she will respond. Sometimes too, it's like
so
a
are
voice
you
note and you.
seeking are you seeking to retain another counsel, or are you going to continue to work with her? Like, how are you dealing with that?
Yeah. So what I started doing was when I realized that the case was going down with her and she wasn't forthcoming with moving the case forward. Then I looked back to the GoFundMe trying to push it. Now that was this year I started pushing because she told me I didn't need it. So then I didn't kind of like push it. So now I'm on every other platform, just posting it, and now I think last month I reached out to another law firm and they also kind of like looked at my case and it was like, okay, they will try and send me an email to that effect, but they'll take the case and then I'll need money to be able to pay for certain expenses. I was like, okay. So I'm waiting for their email. I've not received anything, but I tried to
Okay.
reach out to the lawyer by call or by text message to see if they are still with me, but they don't. He doesn't pick my call or respond to the message as well. And if I'd gone in there telling like, okay, how much are you gonna charge me and everything, and there's money on the table, I think they will take my case seriously. But because I don't have money on the table, because I don't know how much I'm gonna get, I don't know how long it's gonna
Right.
take before I'm able to raise money. So I tell them that I don't have. And really, really, it's not
Right.
my money. People are just gonna support me. So I also reached out to uh, so yeah, he's a member of parliament for Mandina. He's also a lawyer. I reached out to him and he also said he will look into it and then give his advice on it. So I'm hoping that maybe probably any of them will take the case and we could resume again. And I also reached out to Amnesty International with my story. So they told me that they will have a lawyer look into it and then get back to me. After a month, I didn't hear from them. I tried to follow up, but I've not heard anything from them as well. Yeah.
I know that is so frustrating. So
Yeah.
the thing is, as with most cases, when you're taking them to court, uh, it it can always take time, and a lot of times it can be get so frustrating that we want to quit. But I encourage you to keep pushing forward. The GoFundMe will be listed in the description of this video. Um, and any other way that people want to if you're out there and you know maybe a lawyer who does pro bono work for people who are survivors of child sexual abuse, please reach out to me, or you can go to Dolores's Facebook, mention your Facebook page, so if someone wants to reach out to you, they can know how.
Okay, so my name is Dolores Prentice, so they can get me there. You can send me a message and I'll respond to it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what don't you have a group also?
Okay, so we have a support group for survivors. And the page, if you want to join the support group, we have a group that is next week, starting next week, Monday, on the, next week, Monday. So you can join in anytime on a Mondays, it's on Mondays. So Survivors Diaries Foundation is a page. So you can have some of our community education programs going on in there, our events. So quarterly, we organize community education to educate people on child sexual abuse, the side effects, and what we have for survivors as well. So you can get all those events there on our Facebook page.
Okay, so I'll put links for those, all of those in the description. So if, like I said, if you know someone who may do pro bono work for childhood sexual abuse survivors, please reach out to Dolores, or you can reach out to myself, and I'll get the information to her. If you find it in your heart to donate to the GoFundMe, please do so. The link for the GoFundMe will be in the description also. As we know, it takes money to fight for justice, unfortunately. And unless we have someone who's willing to work pro bono. And if you don't know what pro bono means, it means they're willing to work for free. So or voluntarily, they're willing to give their service as a volunteer service. Or if there are organizations that provide those kinds of service, please put those in the comments. Help, you can reach out in any way that you can to help us get Dolores's story out so we can get more support. This is, we as a society have to show victims that we support them. We have to show victims that we're not going to allow these things to continue to perpetuate in our society. And the way that we do that is by giving them justice. Justice is so important. And it's important for people to know that it's not okay. Like, you don't get to get away with abusing people. I don't care how long ago it was. You don't get to do that. So support us. Is there anything else you need to add to your story and your update?
Yeah. So yeah, I was able to get in touch with the only lady that 13th. I told her that this is what was going on with me. The only lady who stood there was like, no, this is not supposed to happen. And she walked me to my mom's place. Finally, I was able to I met one of her family members. I told her that I would like to speak to her. And she reached out to me, and then I told her that this is it. She was like, no, the day that you told me, I realized that it was disturbing you. That's why I was like, no, your mom has to know about it. So I walked you to your mom, and I told your mom, and she said she invited me in front of my mom so that my mom wouldn't think that she's the one who's coming up with that story. So she told me that I should tell my mom what I told her. So she said, I told my mom exactly it, and then I was excused. And she said, my mom didn't show any emotion. She was just like normal. She didn't see it as something that needed to be addressed immediately. She was like, your mom was cold. That's what she said. She said, mom was cold. Even with you telling this is what was going on.
Do you think your mom was abused?
I've had that conversation with my sister, and we want to assume that she might have experienced something like that, and she's numb to it.
Yeah, it may be too painful for her to address. And I say that because a lot of times when people have been victimized themselves, they are numb to it. And it is kind of, they take, some people take on the attitude like, well, that's what just happens. That's life. And instead of like, this hurt me also, and we need to do something. And even using this as an opportunity to maybe feel like she can get justice for herself. Or maybe she may even have a problem with the fact that you have the courage that she didn't have. which is to face it head on. And but I just don't want you to be discouraged by that, and know that it's highly possible that she is not ready to face her own struggles. It's highly, highly possible. I've seen that happen a lot. And so just know that we, you know, we have to remember that our parents were children and young people at one time before also. And a lot of the things that they go through, they don't tell us about it, or they're ashamed of it, or whatever the case may be. And without her talking, of course, we don't know exactly what she may have gone through, that's making her so cold about it. However, as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking like it sounds like she probably is a victim also, and that's her way of hiding from it. You know, so I really want to thank you, because when we have having this conversation with you, it just reminds me of how important it is for us to talk to our children. And many times, we teach our children about strangers and oftentimes the person who hurts them is not a stranger. It's often, the majority of the time, is somebody that they know. And you know, we have to really be more cognizant of how we teach our children, how we train our children to understand what it looks like when someone is doing something that is not appropriate. And I really commend you for starting your organization and doing what you're doing, the work that you can do to try to help other children to not have to go through the same thing that you've gone through and had to live through. I just really, really commend you for that. I appreciate that. And because oftentimes, especially in what I notice in Ghana, is a lot of times people don't know that certain services are even available there. Like people think, oh, no, nobody, like nobody's doing that. Nobody does that. Nobody cares about that. Like, but people do. And there are laws there that protect, or that should protect children and women and men and everybody from all kinds of abuses. There are programs that are there. You just have to seek them out. It's not like, it's the same thing here. Like we have programs, but if you're not seeking it out, you can't find it. So it's just really good that you're going into schools and going into places where there are children and you don't only talk to girls, you also talk to boys, because people don't talk about how these things affect boys also, and in large numbers. So this is like a problem of epidemic proportions, and like everyone wants to just act like it's not happening. So I thank you for your courage and standing up for yourself. And standing up for yourself, you stand up for everyone else. And that is, I know it's not easy. I'm sure it's a lot of frustrating. I know that it's a lot of reliving the same trauma over and over again. But the work that you're doing is amazing. It's needed. And you keep pushing forward, you know, just keep pushing, because you know, it's all of our journeys are up and down, up and down. And right now you're just at a roadblock, but it's only a roadblock. It's something that you can get over. So we're gonna get over this part of it, and we're gonna keep working this GoFundMe, keep posting it everywhere. You guys, if you see the GoFundMe link, even if you can't donate, share it because somebody else may be able to. So you can support by sharing. You can support by reposting this video or showing somebody else this video. You can support by if you know somebody who does this pro bono work as a lawyer in these kinds of cases, you can support by telling them or asking them if they can help or if they have the space to help. You can support in so many other ways. So, you know, Dolores, if you would give me your last words, and we'll get you, we're gonna keep supporting you.
I want to take this opportunity to thank those who have supported me so far on this journey. I had people that I didn't know kind of like donate to my FundMe, and I'm gonna try my best to reach out to them. I know I won't be able to reach out to most of them because I couldn't get in touch with them, but I hope they find this, and I want to say thank you. And to those who are yet to support me in this journey, and like you already said, I want my story to be out there. I want other survivors to know that they can do something now than sit down and just carry the pain all by themselves. They could do something now. So my story is not just for me seeking justice, but it's a story for every survivor out there. So that's the little that
Okay. So what else did you want to add?
Yeah, so when I realized that my family wouldn't want to speak about the truth, what really happened, to the Jehovah's Witness legal team to see if they could kind of like address what has really happened, because 3 of my abusers are still Jehovah's Witnesses and doing regular things like any other. So I tried to reach out to them because one, I got to know last year when the case kind of like came to everybody's knowledge that this is what I'm doing. Then I got one cousin who said that, oh, why am I bringing the case up now? But he already apologized. So I was like, you already apologized to whom? Then I got to know that when the lady informed my mom about what was going on, his dad apologized to my parents, but not to me, the victim. So my cousin is wondering like, 2022, why are you taking the case to the police station? I already apologized. Then he apologized to my parents, but not to me, the victim. I never got anything from him. I never heard a word from him because I think in 2000 that, oh, this is what I'm going through. I've been diagnosed with depression, anxiety disorder, I have PTSD, I have insomnia. I reached out to him early 2000 that this is what I'm going through. And he told me that he wasn't the one. It could be any of my cousins. So he denied it in front of me. So if you really did apologize back then and you were sorry for what you did, how come when I reached out to you, you didn't apologize to me?
Right.
You denied ever doing anything to me. So that was one side.
It was kind of so then he gave you really a backhanded admission, but not an apology.
Come again, I didn't get that.
I said, so he really gave you a backhanded admission, but not an apology.
He didn't give me an apology. He didn't apologize. Oh, Dolores, I'm sorry.
Like,
it was
that was
one-on-one,
an opportunity right there.
So to me, if last year hadn't happened, I wouldn't have known that my dad even knew about it. And they sat down with my cousin and he apologized to me. I wouldn't have known about that incident. I wouldn't have known about it. So all of this is coming now when the case. Then my dad was an elder, so he should have, like, the Jehovah's Witnesses have a policy that they stand by when it comes, and they've changed their policy over the years on how to handle child sexual abuse cases. And currently, they say when they get to know of it, we are supposed to report at the police station. But back then, it wasn't so. They're supposed to keep it within the organization. That was why my parents never reported it, even though according to our constitution, we are supposed to report these things. We are supposed to report at the police station. By law, we are supposed to report these incidents. But because we are Jehovah's Witnesses, we try to cover up. We try to cover up for one another. And I feel like that is why they don't want to talk about it, because my mom told me that don't do this. Take the case out of the police station because you bring reproach on Jehovah's name. And after some time, I was feeling guilty. I started feeling guilty for. Well, I'm not the one bringing reproach on Jehovah's name. What they did.
What they did.
Yeah, in secret. That is what brought reproach on Jehovah's name. I am just bringing it to light, what they did. So it can be handled. That is it. So if you also cover it up for them, you are bringing reproach on Jehovah's name.
On Jehovah's name, yeah.
Trying to cover it up, they are bringing reproach on Jehovah's name. So I'm hoping that I told the legal team that my lawyer is aware that the elders knew about it. Even in the 90s, the elders, and then in 2004, the elders also, I was told to report to one of the elders, that the lead elders, I was told to report to him, but we don't report these incidents at the police station. So I reported the incident to him, and they did nothing, keep repeating it, that this is what happened to me when I was a child, but they didn't do anything about it. They didn't handle the matter. They didn't see if, because normally they would disfellowship these people, didn't do anything about it. And even now, there are elders in my family.
It was breaking up a little bit. You said normally they do a fellowship thing.
They disfellowship if somebody engages in these acts, even if it's fornication, adultery, or even this thing, theft or murder or anything. They try to dissociate the person from the organization. So they announce it and everything. So I have been through it, and I feel like complain to them. They should have looked at it and then done the needful, but they didn't. They didn't. So I'm hoping that now that I've written to them, they will look at it and call the elders who sat in the case to verify that, oh yeah, she did mention something like this. Because my lawyer is still looking into it, and I've told them, the legal team, that my lawyer will reach out to them, because I don't think anybody in this country should cover up on something like this. You're not supposed to cover it up.
So let me ask you this.
You're supposed to report it.
If the church elders were to come in and want to, or decide to handle the case, would you be satisfied with whatever justice you would get through the church? Or would you still want to go the legal route?
I will only be satisfied. I will only be satisfied with what the church will give if my lawyer tells me that I'm hitting a roadblock on the other side.
Okay.
If I'm hitting a roadblock and I wouldn't get, because it's a historical abuse and I wouldn't get what I'm supposed to get, I'll be satisfied with this one. Because I've been a case where I have committed fornication and then no elder will say that, oh, my daughter, I know you're going through tough times, things are not good for you and you're in a bad place and because of your disorder and everything, so you kind of like going up and down the hill. So let's just, pray over you and then just cover this one up, just cover, but like, let's pray and see how we can help you. No, they don't do that for me.
Right.
They send my information to the podium and they announce that I'm being disfellowship, I'm being given public reproof, and they announce it. So I don't think those abusers are different from me.
Right.
Their blood is not different from me. Their sin is not different from what I did.
Right.
Yeah.
So
even if the soul is still sin before God.
Absolutely. So so if the church, you're basically you wanting to look at justice through two different routes, right? Through the church elders and then the legal system also. Do you think that if you were given when you say you want justice, what does justice look like for you?
Justice looks like validation. Justice looks like closure. Justice looks like me speaking up. That's what justice looks like for me, because I've been through a lot when it comes to the church and how people, I do something and I go and confess in private, and then it's like everybody gets to know about it, and it's like, yay, Dolores is this, Dolores is that, don't associate with her. And I get that from the church. That is one side. But when it comes to the legal, it's another side. I'll still pursue the legal and I'll still pursue the church. Okay. If I get both, that is fine, because they're two different things. So where kind of like it comes together or intertwines is when the elders should have saw it fit to report it, or maybe put it in their policy years ago that yes, or everybody is required to report it. That is where it kind of like it intertwines. But aside that, I'm expecting justice validation on the legal side as well.
Okay, so I have two requests here. If you could say something to those that abused you, if you could talk to them directly, what would you say?
To my abusers or the church?
To your abusers.
Okay, to my abusers, I would want to let them know how much what they did affected me, and how much their seeking pleasure might have affected other survivors who they did it to. Because I have gotten through our investigation and realized that some of the abusers, I wasn't the only person they did it to. So just to imagine what other people are going through in silence, I want them to like live in my life what I have been through. Because of, honestly, I don't want any apology for them. I don't want them to say sorry, because when they could have said it, because now they're denying it. Yeah. Right now, my mom tells me that all of them say they didn't do anything. So later on, right now you deny it, and then later you say sorry. To me, I don't need your sorry, because for me to move on, I had to forgive them. Right. I had to forgive them, and I've forgiven them already. I just want them to know how much it had affected me, and just to tell them in front of them that I forgive them. But justice has to prevail, and that is it. And absolutely. Yeah. So
what would you also say to the elders and the people who knew what was happening to you but didn't do anything about it?
Okay, for them, I just want them. Mine happened years ago. I had to go through it. Let's say I was the experiment, and my story right now, whatever happens at the end of it, I want them to learn from my experience to help other people. Because there are times that I go to them and I beg them that there's something wrong with me. I didn't understand what was going on with me. I didn't know why I was so into sex, and the religion doesn't tolerate these fornication. I just want to tell them that if somebody comes to you, look into their story. There's always a history to why somebody is doing something. So find out, do your investigation. Don't just do an investigation who she slept with, what time she went to the person's place, what is going on with the person. Don't just read the Bible and feel like the Bible is going to correct them. Hold their hand and try to take them through whatever they're going through. Because I cried needing help. Somebody to hold me, to tell me that, okay, everything is okay. You're going to go through this. Okay, fine. You need therapy. Okay, go to therapy, continue therapy. And then after some time, you're going to review your case in the church and see if you're okay, to see whether your story checks in, that really, really you're going through some bad times. But they didn't. So I just wanted to bring their attention to that, so that other people who are going through some trauma and everything, they could run to them and ask for God's forgiveness, and they are going to get exactly what God is going to give them, not from a man's point of view that, oh, you fornicated, we are going to disfellowship you. So I want them to look at my story and learn something to help other people.
Yes, that's thank you for that. Because I think it's important that we have our why and our how we want things to, work out. So just knowing that that's the outcome that you're looking for makes it, to me, it makes your fight for justice even more important, because people do need to learn from the experiences, because we can't change what happened, but we can change what happens. Like, we can do better in the future. So
yeah, I want to include in it.
Dolores, thank you so very much for coming and giving us an update. In a few months, I would like for you to come back and update us again. I want to continue to follow your story until we get the justice that you deserve. So for my viewers, if you're following this story, just know that every couple of months, we're going to do another update and keep you posted on what's going on. And this is also for those who donated to the GoFundMe. You should know that your donations are not in vain, that we are still pushing through. So Dolores, I want to thank you once again. Everyone watching, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. That's the free way that you can support my channel and support Dolores' story, by just sharing. Sharing helps to support also. And it only takes you 1-2 seconds at the most to just hit the share button, hit the like button, and that'll help for more people to see it and get possibilities of more support. With that being said, Dolores, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and I will see you soon. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Thank you too.
All right. So